It's always the ones you trust the most who smile as they push you off the edge. The crowd erupts around me, a sea of painted faces, flags, and noise so loud it feels like thunder vibrating through my chest. It's the FIFA World Cup final in Barcelona, Spain versus Brazil. The kind of spectacle that people dream of witnessing just once in their lives. I'm sitting in a luxury box above the pitch, sipping chilled cava, my name stitched into the linen napkin in front of me. For me, this was supposed to be a night of reward, of earned glory. I had helped bring Westmore International into the European market, led the campaigns, sealed the partnerships, babysat the egos, and turned forecasts into historic profits. And tonight, this suite, this match, this moment, it was all supposed to be a thank you. A "we see you, Harper." But the only thing I see is the text glowing on my phone screen. Harper, we're letting you go. Pack up by Monday. This isn't personal. Jordan, that's it. That's all he wrote. No call, no meeting, no warning. I reread it twice, then a third time, as if somehow the letters will rearrange themselves into a mistake. But no. My heart pounds. My fingers go cold. My ears ring. I blink hard, trying to focus on the game below, but all I can see are the two sentences that just detonated 8 years of loyalty in under 8 seconds. I swallow hard. The air suddenly feels heavier, like I'm wearing someone else's skin. Around me, laughter and cheers burst like fireworks. I'm sitting among investors, celebrities, and diplomats. But the moment feels eerily quiet inside my head. Just static. And then I feel it, that prickling heat on the back of my neck. Someone's watching me. I glance sideways. The man seated just one chair away isn't cheering, isn't watching the match at all. He's watching me, calmly, intentionally. His expression unreadable, except for the faint curiosity in his eyes. He's older, maybe early 60s, with thick silver hair and a navy velvet suit that somehow doesn't feel gaudy. There's something quiet about him, something restrained but razor sharp. And I recognize him, Cassian Roth, founder and CEO of Helix Global. The man I've heard my boss, Jordan, rage about behind closed doors for years, the competitor he could never outpace. The man whose company was poised to eat us alive, given the chance. I've only ever seen him from afar at summits and private dinners. He's always been a ghost. There, then gone. A man with connections, money, and a peculiar ability to stay off the radar despite owning a $9 billion empire that powers everything from defense software to humanitarian logistics. And now he's sitting next to me, watching me fall apart in real time. Everything all right? His voice is low, refined, with a British accent that makes even the awkward sound elegant. I force a laugh that sounds more like a hiccup. Yeah, just work stuff. He doesn't blink. Tough timing for work stuff, especially at a game like this. Yeah, I mutter. Tell me about it. He turns back to the field briefly, then says, "You're Harper Vale, correct? Vice President at Westmore?" The mention of my full name makes me flinch. Not anymore, apparently. He nods once. I suspected as much. Jordan Whitmore isn't exactly known for tact. A strange mix of embarrassment and indignation floods me. I want to disappear and scream at the same time. But then Cassian leans in slightly. Just enough for only me to hear his next words. "If you're open to it, I think there's something we could discuss. Something with real teeth." I look at him. Really look. His expression is still unreadable, but there's something else behind it. Not pity. Not politeness. Interest. Strategic interest. This can't be happening. I tuck my phone into my coat pocket, sit up straighter, and manage to ask, "And what exactly would we be discussing?" His lips twitch in something close to a smile. "Not here," Not now. But if you're willing to listen, I can offer something Westmore never did. For a long moment, I don't speak. The stadium explodes again. Spain scores. Fireworks burst in the sky. But I'm not cheering. I'm not even watching. My life has just split in two. One half dying in my coat pocket. The other, possibly, being rewritten right here in the shadows of the most watched game in the world. Now, let's listen to my story journey. Cassian doesn't press. That's the thing about powerful people. They don't need to chase. They just wait, knowing the right moment will always come to them. I try to refocus on the game, but it's hopeless. Spain's in the lead. The crowd is a living beast. But I'm not really here anymore. My body is parked in this velvet stadium seat, but my mind is galloping miles ahead. Jordan's text keeps pulsing behind my eyes like an afterimage burned into my brain. How many dinners did I skip with my mother to meet his last-minute deadlines? How many weekends did I spend in hotel rooms eating lukewarm room service so I could close one more deal, make one more investor happy? 8 years. That's nearly a decade of loyalty, discarded with a 2-sentence message during halftime. The buzz of the suite suddenly feels suffocating. I rise, murmuring an excuse, and step into the corridor. It's quieter here. I take a deep breath, lean against the wall. I need space. Moments later, footsteps approach, polished shoes, the scent of some subtle, expensive cologne. Cassian. I apologize if I've intruded, he says, but I have a feeling you're not in the mood to be alone. I give him a sideways glance. Is that your professional read? He shrugs, a faint smile playing on his lips. More of a human one. I sigh. He didn't even call. Just a text. Said it wasn't personal. Cassian lets out a short laugh. That's always what they say when they gut you from behind. It's not personal. Like that makes it civilized. We're silent for a moment. The roar of the stadium filters in faintly, but it's distant. A world away. He continues. I've been watching Westmore for years. Watching you, if I'm being honest. That catches me off guard. Excuse me? You don't know this, he says, but when you pitched in Berlin last year, your analysis on Eastern European expansion, I was in the room. Incognito. I wasn't supposed to be there. But I remember how you spoke. Your precision. The way the room shifted. You didn't notice, but your CEO did. That's the day he started making sure you'd never rise higher than the role he could control. My heart skips. You're saying he planned this? I'm saying men like Jordan fear women like you. He studies me. And that fear is the only thing they ever truly respect. He lets the weight of those words settle before continuing. Which is why I want you on my team. My breath catches. I've been building something at Helix. We're ready to expand into the US market. But I don't want a liaison. I want a commander. Someone who knows the terrain, the clients, the politics. Someone who can break the rules without losing the room. His eyes meet mine, steady and sure. I believe that's you. I don't speak. I'm afraid if I do, I'll either cry or say yes too quickly. You'd have full autonomy, he adds. Budget, strategy, leadership. We don't do hand-holding at Helix. We do vision. And equity? I ask quietly. He nods. Of course, a seat at the table and not the kiddie one. I should be cautious. This is all happening too fast, too perfectly. But somehow I know he's serious. Cassian Roth doesn't need to impress me. If anything, he's giving me a way to take back what was stolen without saying it aloud. I look him dead in the eye. Why me? He doesn't blink. Because you were loyal to a man who didn't deserve it. Because you know what it means to fight smart. And because I want someone who's already tasted the knife. I let that hang between us for a beat. Then I say the words that surprise even me. I'm listening. Cassian offers a small nod. Come to London. Meet the rest of the executive board. Spend 2 days with us. No contracts. Just conversation. If it doesn't feel right, we part ways. No hard feelings. And if it does, his smile returns. Then we build an empire, Ms. Vale. As we walk back to the suite, I feel something I haven't felt in weeks. Agency. Jordan tried to make me invisible. Cassian is asking me to be undeniable. The match ends in a flurry of confetti and chanting, but I'm already thinking about London, about what comes next, about burning the whole script and writing my own ending. It's raining in New York when I return, and the skyline looks unfamiliar, as if the entire city shifted slightly while I was gone. I stare at the glass doors of Westmore International from across the street. They tower like polished lies, daring me to come back in. This building used to feel like mine. I knew the sound the elevator made when it was about to stop on my floor. I knew the receptionist's coffee order. I knew the faces, the office politics, the silent nods exchanged across glass walls when deals were made. But now, it feels like enemy territory. Still, I walk in. One last time. I don't announce myself. I just nod at security and head straight for my office on the 31st floor. The silence in the elevator is deafening. When the doors open, the atmosphere is different, tense. People glance up as I walk through the corridor. A few quickly look away. One woman in accounting offers a hesitant smile, then disappears into her cubicle. I wonder how much they know. My office door has a yellow sticky note on it. It will collect your hardware by 3 p.m. How classy. I walk in and close the door behind me. The room still smells faintly like that vanilla diffuser I used to keep on the windowsill. My travel bag is still half unpacked. My framed photo of Mom is still angled just so. I sit down at the desk and just breathe. One deep breath. And then I start packing. Every movement is deliberate. The mug I got in Vienna. The leather folder from Seoul. The signed contract I kept framed for my first $1 million client. Each item is a memory. Each one a receipt of a life I gave this place. I've almost finished when there's a knock. It's Marcus, from legal. Tall, awkward, always kind. I just wanted to say, he clears his throat. This is wrong. Everyone knows it. I nod once. I don't trust myself to speak. He adds quietly, Jordan's not winning any popularity contests this week. I finally find my voice. Let him enjoy the quiet while he can. Marcus smiles faintly. There's a lot of talk going around, Harper. Clients asking questions, people pulling out of renewals. You were the reason they stayed loyal, and now they're wondering what's going on. I close the last box. They'll find out soon enough. After he leaves, I send one last email from my personal account. A thank you note to a list of key clients and partners, not mentioning the firing, just letting them know I'm moving on to new opportunities and will share more soon. By the time I carry my boxes down to the lobby, I don't feel small anymore. I feel unchained. But of course, the final scene still awaits. I walk straight to Jordan's office. He's inside, typing furiously, his back to the door. I knock once and enter. Harper, he says without turning, I see you've made your decision. He finally looks up. No warmth, no guilt. Just that smug corporate detachment I once mistook for poise. I place my resignation letter on his desk. He doesn't even read it. HR will process everything, he says flatly. Good luck. That's it. Not even a thank you. I want to say something scathing, something that will haunt him. But instead, I just smile. See you soon, Jordan. Because I know something he doesn't. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. As I step out of the building for the last time, the clouds finally break. The rain turns into sunlight. A strange symmetry. I look up at the sky, smile to myself, and whisper, London, I'm coming. The air in London smells different. Wet stone, wood smoke, ambition. Even the rain here feels strategic. When I step out of the black cab in front of Helix Global's headquarters, it feels like walking into another world. No glassy skyscrapers screaming for attention, just a quiet, imposing building tucked behind a row of plane trees near Bloomsbury. Tasteful, controlled, confident. Inside, everything is quiet. Too quiet for a billion-dollar company. I pass minimalist white walls, soft lighting, and sleek steel railings. The place hums with a kind of stillness that feels curated, almost surgical. There are no gaggles of assistants, no blaring phones. Just discreet power. A woman in navy greets me. "Ms. Vale, welcome to Helix. Mr. Roth is expecting you." I'm led to a top-floor corner office with a view of the Thames and a single orchid on the windowsill. Cassian stands beside it, looking out like a general surveying his empire. "Glad you came," he says simply. "Couldn't stay away." He gestures for me to sit, and for the next hour, we talk. Not just about the role, but about vision, about markets, about who has influence and who only thinks they do. Then he tells me something I wasn't expecting. "This isn't just about expansion." I raise an eyebrow. "You've heard of Weston Shaw?" "Of course I have. The former head of Westmore Europe. Quietly ousted 2 years ago. Brilliant. Cutthroat. I'd only met him twice, but his name was always spoken with either awe or fear." "He's my cousin," Cassian says. "He built a foundation at Westmore that Jordan Whitmore has been slowly dismantling, piece by piece. You were one of the last solid pieces." My blood runs cold. "You're saying Jordan's been trying to erase all of Weston's work?" Cassian nods. "And he's been sloppy. He's made enemies, forgotten that people have memories, and loyalty. And now that loyalty is moving toward us." He walks over to a cabinet and pulls out a thin dossier. Inside, notes, charts, timelines, a map of every major Westmore client I'd ever touched. "You know these people. You built these bridges. I don't want you to burn them. I want you to walk across them and take everything that's still standing." I exhale slowly. This is war. Quiet, professional, white-gloved, but war. And what exactly would my role be? Cassian's gaze sharpens. "Chief Strategy Officer, U.S. Division, based out of D.C. You'll have hiring power, budget discretion, and final say on all client-facing operations." He pauses, then adds, "I don't want a middle manager, Harper. I want a rainmaker. Someone who doesn't ask for permission to win." I sit there for a long moment trying to absorb it. It's everything I've ever wanted, and never thought I'd be trusted to hold. But what happens when Jordan finds out? He'll retaliate. Hard. Cassian's smile is thin. Let him. He'll be too busy plugging leaks to stop the flood. I lean back in my chair, pulse steady now. "So what you're really offering me is revenge, professionally executed," he finishes for me. I don't laugh. I don't need to. Instead, I stand, extend my hand and say, "When do we start?" Cassian takes it. Firm grip, eye contact never wavering. "Now." That night, I walk back to my hotel in the rain. No umbrella and no regret. For the first time in weeks, I feel dangerous. By the time I'm back in the States, everything has changed, except the skyline. The same steel spires cut through the sky like ambition made tangible, but I'm no longer a pawn in someone else's company tower. I land in D.C., where Helix has secured a penthouse floor in a historic building near DuPont Circle. Cassian wasn't exaggerating. He's handed me the keys. My name is on the lease, the team reports to me, and the budget is mine to command. I spend the first week building the skeleton, staffing, legal, infrastructure. But my real work begins with the names on my list, the clients I've nurtured for years, the ones Jordan thought he inherited when he inherited me. First up is Vincent Rojas, CEO of a luxury hotel chain with locations in over 30 countries. He's the kind of man who believes in three things: consistency, loyalty, and his gut. And when I walk into his office in Manhattan, I know I'm gambling on all three. His assistant ushers me in, and he looks up from his desk with a raised brow. Harper Vale, back from the dead. I grin. Only the good die young. He leans back, steeples his fingers. I got the memo from Westmore. They said your departure was mutual. Of course they did. I figured that's what they'd say. I reply smoothly. But you and I both know they never liked to share credit. He lets out a breath. Not quite a laugh, but not a dismissal either. I open my tablet. I'm not here to clear my name. I'm here to offer you something better. Westmore gave you reliable, yes, but reactive. What Helix offers is preemptive. Global logistics, predictive strategy, client-first models, and a voice at the table you already know you can trust. He watches me silently for a beat too long. Then, you still have that vineyard contact in Portugal? I blink. Of course. Good. That deal was the smoothest I've had in years. Call them. Let's see what you can do. I don't smile. Not yet. But as I step out onto Fifth Avenue, I feel it rising in me. The shift. The tide. Over the next few weeks, it snowballs. Dahlia Crane, fashion logistics magnate, signed. Barrett and Sloan Pharmaceuticals, in negotiations. And then, unexpectedly, a call from Klaus Baer. Klaus and I had history. Westmore history. The kind built over bad conference food and endless 2 a.m. calls during EU regulatory crackdowns. I heard you've changed teams, he says, with that heavy German accent and a pause between every sentence. I have. I also heard you were the reason Westmore stayed functional for as long as it did. I say nothing. Let silence speak for me. Let's talk, he adds. And when we do, on a secure Helix line, naturally, it's like no time has passed. He doesn't even ask for a pitch, just says, "Where you go, I follow." I never trusted Whitmore, but I always trusted you. After the call ends, I sit in my office, staring out at the Potomac, the weight of it finally hitting me. They're not coming for Helix, they're coming for me. I wasn't just a name on a Westmore org chart. I was the reason they stayed. And now, I'm the reason they're leaving. The realization is both empowering and terrifying, because this means Jordan's going to come for me next. And when he does, he won't use text. He'll use everything he's got. The first shot comes on a Wednesday. An email from a former colleague at Westmore. Anonymous address, no signature. Just 2 lines. Jordan's making calls. He's spinning a story. Brace yourself. I close my laptop. My jaw clenches so hard it hurts. I've been expecting this, but it still hits like a sucker punch. By Friday, the whispers become concrete. Clients forwarding me voicemails. Legal teams requesting clarification. Jordan's telling people I was unstable, that I fabricated client reports, that I sabotaged contracts in my final month out of spite. And somehow, it's working. At least enough to make people hesitate. I get a call from a potential client in Chicago who's clearly rattled. "We just want to make sure your legal situation is clear," she says, voice tight. I hang up before I say something that will give her reason to believe otherwise. I've never been more furious. But then, like a thread yanked loose in a careful weave, everything begins to unravel. For him. Patricia calls me that same night. Her voice is low, clipped. "Harper, you're not going to believe this. Riley, Jordan, he's been fabricating internal documentation, backdating reports to show that your departure was planned months in advance. They're building a case to accuse you of breaching confidentiality." I sit down hard, my pulse roaring. "How do you know?" "I have a friend in compliance. She found some emails. They were altering metadata. Harper, this isn't just smearing your name. They're trying to blacklist you. It hits me all at once. He's not afraid of losing face. He's afraid of losing the company. And if he can discredit me fast enough, he thinks he can contain the fallout. But I have something he doesn't. Time. And receipts. I call Cassian. I tell him everything. He doesn't hesitate. We're already prepared, he says. Our lawyers have been tracking their moves. We have evidence. The document manipulation, the unauthorized access logs. They left a trail. I pause. So what's the play? Cassian's voice is ice. We go public, carefully, strategically. We hit them with legal action and present our findings to their board. But first, we call back the clients. Every last one. The next morning, I'm on the phone for 6 straight hours. I speak to Klaus, to Dahlia, to Barrett's in-house counsel. I tell them the truth. Measured, calm, fact-based. I share evidence. I don't beg. I just give them what Jordan never could. Transparency. And it works. By the end of the day, we've secured 2 more contracts. And then the call comes, from a woman named Sabine who sits on Westmore's European Advisory Board. Ms. Vale, she says crisply, we've received troubling reports about internal documentation inconsistencies. We're launching an audit. My heart catches. Do you need anything from me? A pause. Not yet, but you may be hearing from our lawyers, on your behalf. I hang up and stare out my office window. It's happening. The web Jordan spun is starting to close in, around him. And then Patricia sends me the smoking gun. An internal memo from Jordan, dated 3 months prior to my firing, referencing plans to replace senior personnel with lower-cost, high-turnover talent. The problem? That memo wasn't written until after I left. It's digital forgery, and she has the server logs to prove it. Cassian's lawyers move fast. Within 48 hours, we're filing an official complaint with Westmore's board, complete with timestamps, screen captures, and witness statements. And suddenly, the narrative shifts. Jordan's campaign collapses under the weight of his own arrogance. But I don't feel triumphant yet. Not until the final card is played. Cassian calls me late Sunday night. You ready for the final strike? I exhale. Tell me. He lowers his voice. We've scheduled a meeting with the board. They've requested your presence. They want to hear the story from the woman herself. My stomach flips. In person? Yes. And I'll be right beside you. I lean back in my chair and stare at the ceiling. It's time. Not for revenge. Not even for justice. For truth. For peace. For closure. The boardroom is colder than I remember. Sleek black chairs, polished glass table, and a skyline view that used to make me feel powerful. Now, it just looks like a backdrop to a story that no longer belongs to me. But I'm not here for nostalgia. I'm here to close a door, and maybe kick it off its hinges on the way out. Cassian sits beside me, immaculate as always. His expression unreadable, but his energy razor sharp. Across from us, 11 board members, and at the far end, flushed and fidgeting, is Jordan Whitmore. For once, he doesn't look like the man in control. The chairwoman begins. Ms. Vale, thank you for coming. As you know, there have been discrepancies raised regarding your departure from Westmore International. I nod, calm. Yes, I'm aware. She gestures for me to speak. So I do. I tell them everything. Not with anger, not with tears. Just facts. How I gave 8 years to this company. How I secured key international contracts, built relationships across continents, and expanded their European presence. How I was let go over a text message during a major international event. How, in the weeks following, Jordan attempted to smear my name, backdate memos, and fabricate documents to suggest I had acted in bad faith. And then I show them the proof. The altered server logs, the email metadata, the contract inconsistencies. They pass the files around in silence. No one looks at Jordan. And still, I'm not done. I didn't come here to demand my job back, I say, voice steady. I came to reclaim the truth. Then I pause. And to let you know that most of your top clients, the ones I brought in, are no longer returning your calls. A murmur sweeps the room. I let it hang there for a moment before standing. I have nothing else to say, except that integrity costs more than Jordan was ever willing to pay. Cassian rises with me. The chairwoman nods slightly, her face unreadable. We'll deliberate. You're dismissed for now. As we walk out, I don't look back, but Cassian does. An hour later, we're in a private lounge downstairs when my phone rings. Patricia. Harper, he's out. I exhale slowly. They removed him? They voted. Unanimous. Effective immediately. He's being escorted out of the building right now. Cassian's stepping in as interim CEO while they restructure. I don't smile. Not yet. But I whisper, "Thank you," and hang up. Cassian turns to me. It's done. I look out the window. Rain begins to fall again. London, D.C., New York. It all starts the same way. But what comes after? That's where the real difference lies. A week later, I'm back in D.C., standing in the glass office I built with my own hands. My team hums around me. Strategists, analysts, creators, all people I chose. All people who chose me. On my desk is a handwritten note from Klaus Baer. You didn't just win. You led. Let's make history. I smile. Not because I won, but because I'm no longer playing someone else's game. I built something from the ashes. Not out of spite, but out of vision. Jordan thought firing me would end my story, but what he didn't realize was, he gave me the perfect first chapter. And now I'm writing the rest.